Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I was reading some information earlier this morning, dealing with, and I was watching a couple of videos, and you can see that there's at least this one here from Zero Hedge. The title says, Global South countries sever ties with 48ers, recall ambassadors as Gaza deaths mount. Which they're saying that over there in Gaza, that I think recently, hit a refugee camp. I think they did like an airstrike or so on a refugee camp, which killed some people over there. And there've been a couple of videos actually where they've been slipping up, with the tongue, and where they'll say something like one of them, I guess one of their representatives or whatnot was speaking, and he basically says, the attention is on the wrong side. We are not the victims over here. And then he pauses for a second. He said, sorry, no, we are the victims over here. And I'm like, interesting. And then you had another situation where this was a female one, and she was talking, and she says that and she's basically speaking so fast. She said, we're primarily targeting civilians, over there. And then she quickly catches herself and switches up and says, "No, I'm sorry, we're targeting terrorists, not civilians." So, the thing about it is, okay, you could one could argue that it happens, it's a slip of the tongue, but another could argue that, well, when you slip with the tongue, right? It's oftentimes you may slip up and say something like, for example, you may be reading something while somebody is talking to you, and so you may accidentally respond with something like a word you were reading from the book or something like that, right? Because there's two things that are in your mind at the same time, or sometimes too when people are making up something, it's easy for them to slip up. All right, when they're in the midst of saying something that may not be 100% accurate. Okay, but nevertheless, the point is that the world is seeing everything that's happening. All right, this conflict is really showing the world, okay, all the things that are going on, and it's showing, like they say, people's true colors. Okay, so people are now seeing and deciding for themselves in their minds, yo, like, these people, they doing this, that, and the third. And a lot of people, a lot of countries are looking at the 48ers as aggressors. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this here, because at the end of the day, the 48ers are still ease. They're still a part of the ease, and we know what the scriptures say about them. Okay, so global South countries sever ties with Israel, recall ambassadors as Gaza deaths mount. Global South countries have begun severing formal ties. I'm just gonna call them the 48ers. Just to cover my back retroactively, in the case that in the future they introduce some new algorithms and then they start picking up any name. I mean, at that point they might as well just take down all the videos, because we've said, I mean, the name Israel has been mentioned so many different times, so severing formal ties with the 48ers and pulling their ambassadors after 3 weeks of Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, and now days into a ground operation. The death toll among mostly Palestinian civilians has surpassed 8,700, causing Bolivia to be among the latest to cut official ties. Okay, and when they cut these ties, man, that's not a good thing for people that are advocating for world peace, at least. Bolivia decided to break diplomatic relations with the Israeli state in repudiation and condemnation of the aggressive and disproportionate Israeli military offensive taking place in the Gaza Strip, a foreign ministry statement said. And the scriptures tell you, right, in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, that to everything under the sun there is a time and there is a season. right? A time to kill, a time to heal, a time of peace, a time of war. So what the Lord is doing is he is having the spirit of the angels go out into the minds of these different rulers. Proverbs 21:1, right? The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. And when it says the heart of the king, it means their mind, their thoughts. So the Lord is in control over their thoughts. And it says, as rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Most High is in control, ultimately, of the decisions that are made on by these world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, so on and so forth. Okay? And so the Lord is, through his angels, is basically causing them to prepare war. And that's why he's causing this great divide on a world scale. All right, and you're going to have people on one side and you're going to have people on another side. And as things escalate at the right time, okay, it's going to eventually spread and involve more than just these two, this region over here and these two countries or three or four. Okay. We demand an end to the attacks in the Gaza Strip, which have so far caused thousands of civilian deaths and forced displacement of Palestinians. Minister of the Presidency Maria Nella Prada told a press conference and announced new humanitarian aid to the Gazans is being readied. But quickly following this, Israel lashed out, charging the South American country with capitulation to terrorism and to the Ayatollah regime in Iran. Of course, Hamas welcomes the move. You hear that? So that's the thing, and that's one thing too. The Lord put that spirit of what's the word I'm looking? Adamancy, okay, on them, on Amalek. So they're the kind to, as you're seeing, if based on whatever happened on what they say happened on the 7th, they said, right, basically like, mark my words, we're gonna come back and you're gonna regret this. They're not the type of. It's like when you you have a group, right, and there's always that one kid who just doesn't let things go, right? So if he says, I'm gonna get you, he's gonna get you, and when he gets you, he the type of dude, you slap him in the back of his neck, he comes back with a chair, them metal chairs, and he's not like playing around, like he's just gonna act like he's about to hit you, and then when the chair gets close to you, he'll like slow down the momentum and just like slightly hit you and scare you and shit. No. The dude is using his whole might to swing that shit at your head. you know, that kid that always takes it, yeah. That's them. Okay, that's how they move. So when they say they gon' wipe him off the face of the planet or whatever they said, and that's what they're gonna do. They don't want to be stopped. Okay, so now you have a situation where the world or some countries are looking at them as aggressors and not victims. Okay, but they're saying no, we're victims. And now it's getting to the point where it's like, well, anybody that is against our cause or the narrative, let me put it like that, you must be on the other side, right? If you're not with me, then you're against me. So you must be on the other side. So that whenever, like, well, these countries have basically said, if any country comes out and says, oh, we're not on this side, but we don't agree with what they're doing, what Amalek is doing to these innocent people, oh, they're gonna say, nope, you lying, you on this side. Okay, so whatever, however it goes, there's that divide, there's that split. Okay, and as we keep saying, the job of us as prophets is not to get in the midst of this. Our job is to just report on it. Like when you go and you read about the time of Jeremiah, when his job was to warn and to instruct and to relay the message of the Lord to the southern kingdom, right, the kingdom of Judah, and he told them, look, the Babylonians are coming. When they come, just surrender. And guess what? This guy, I think it's Zedekiah, he didn't take heed. But when the Babylonians came, Jeremiah he didn't have to worry. They gave him the option. They said, yo, you can come with us, or you can stay here. What you want to do? I believe there was a Babylonian general. It might have been Neriglus or that said that to him. But basically, the point is, the Most High put the spirit on them to have favor on Jeremiah. So he didn't have to worry about, because them other Israelites that got taken captives, they didn't have a choice. They didn't tell them which one of you wants to come with us. They round their ass up and took them. All right. You know. So in our time too, guess what? We're not getting caught up in this conflict. The Lord got us here just to report. And when that time comes, the true men of the Lord's gonna say, "You did what I, you did what I put you here to do. That's it. You're good. Fall back. Okay, fall back. You all right? You all right? You okay?" Let's read a little bit more. Bolivia's neighbors, Chile and Colombia, have also recalled their ambassadors while condemning what they called a military campaign of ethnic cleansing aimed at Palestinians. I have decided to recall our ambassador to Israel for consultation. If Israel does not stop the massacre of the Palestinian people, we cannot be there, Colombian President Gustavo Petro said in a social media post. And as we've all been observing, this is leading to more and more things. Okay? It's leading to more and more, narratives being pushed. Right? It's leading to more and more situations arising. Okay? And possibly more and more events that may not occur in that actual region of the East where this conflict is going on. Okay? So, like I said, we gotta watch. Watch as the Lord, as a matter of fact, as the Lord said, we gotta watch and be circumspect and redeem the times. We know we're living in evil days. We know we're living in evil times. We know that at any moment the Lord could have them, pop something off. So you gotta be ready. It's not like now something goes on and then now you're trying to run here and trying to do this and get right and do. No, no, no. It's too late for that. You gotta be ready now. Um. I'll read one more paragraph. It says Chilean President Gabriel Boric also accused Israel of unacceptable violations of international humanitarian law, which is based on collective punishment. Uh, the population, or yeah, it says Chile, it should be noted, has a huge Palestinian population, as do some other Latin American countries. Very interesting. Well, guess what? You got them Latin American countries, and some of them in the region of South and Central America. Where do you think they're going? Where do you think the majority of the so-called migrants that are coming through the border coming from? Hmm. What an interesting convenience to push an interesting narrative, no? Anyway, let me read this real quick. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And also when you go to Habakkuk, I think the third chapter, I think either the second or the third chapter, it talks about how shall not all these rise up against him. And say this taunting proverb against them. So basically, as time is going on, the world is starting to reveal Eve for who he is. And as a matter of fact, it's spiritual, right? Because Cain, after the mark was put on him, he said, wherever he goes, they're going to want to slay him. That's because he's the devil. Okay? And once they find out his true nature, nobody's going to want to mess with him. See, so now that the true nature of E is being revealed on a world scale by the Lord, the scripture said, right? The Son of Man will be revealed. Okay? Now that all that's happening, now you're going to see that Revelation 12 and 12. Okay? And as much as you're seeing things going on that front, don't take your eyes off of the MOTB, because next thing you know, it'll sneak up on you. Before you know it, it'll just be in the some other major news around that will pop into the headlines. Maybe it may be caused by something that was driven by this event, or whatever the case is, but that's gonna pop up, and at that point, you're gonna know that there's gonna be no more stalling. That point, there's gonna be no more tarrying. When they officially bring this thing out, there's no more stalling. There's no more oh well, we gotta wait for this to come out now, because now that one waiting point is gonna be out and pushed and mandated. Okay, but as the precept says, the earth shall rise up against them. All right, and that's the times that we're seeing now, which ultimately is going to lead to war. Okay, all this stuff going on is going to lead to war, because that is what's prophesied in the scriptures. That is the actual script that the Lord has set up to happen. Okay, so as the scriptures say, we're going to keep on watching, keep on reporting on the news that's coming out, tying it into prophecy. All right, and measuring the times diligently, and above all, praying, and having faith that the Lord deliver us in these times, because these are definitely some very perilous times. So with that, I hope you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.